new generation. We are the youth of the nation. High in the sky. We are the new generation. Leader. Leader. Leader.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Leaders Dialogue Show and Happy New Year. In studio, we are privileged to have Mr. John Ng'ang'a. Mr. John Ng'ang'a, welcome again.
Asante.
And I hope your New Year is doing well.
Very well.
Yeah, we are glad you have joined us. And today we have good news. Our speaker, our guests have written a new book by the name Discover Your Life's Purpose. And Mr. John Ng'ang'a, what is the book all about?
Yeah, it just came out last week.
Last week.
So I was sweet for the first time last week.
Yeah, okay.
You know, when you write and you hand it over
Yes.
for the other process,
Yes.
you are surprised how it looks.
Yes.
But it has three important purposes why the book is written.
Yes.
Many people are doing things which they are dissatisfied with. And my suggestion is that the most likely thing is they are working outside their calling, outside their purpose.
Yes.
So the book would like to help people to see the importance of knowing their purpose. Because if they know the importance, then you'll look for it.
Yes.
And so I'm hoping my book will help people to see the importance of not just doing a job, but doing the job that will help you fulfill your purpose.
Yes.
Number two, I want to, once you know the importance, I'd like to give you a methodology. A methodology that can help you to discover what God created you for or why you are born again. And so my book shares ways of discovering what your calling is or what your purpose in life is.
Yes.
And so you can read the book of that. Thirdly, and importantly, I give many examples of what it means to actually operate within your purpose.
That's true.
So I'm hoping with those three,
Yeah.
it's going to help young people especially, but even people like me in their 60s.
Yes.
The years God has remained, if you could enjoy them, that would be very good.
That's true.
So because the idea is God created you for a purpose. If you live within that purpose or operate in that purpose, even when you are going through a very difficult time, you will be somebody who enjoys your work.
Fantastic. Viewers, we are glad that we have a new book, and we trust God that in future we shall be able to explore the book and have some more discussion concerning discovering our purposes.
Maybe you can tell them that my distributor is called Biblica. So if you Google Biblica Kenya, then they can tell you which bookshop has a book.
Yeah. So just Google Biblica Kenya, and you'll be able to get in touch with the distributors of this wonderful book, which is a good present for the new year. And talking about our life potential, maximizing our life potential, how do we maintain our personal goals? And I'd like you to mention something you have mentioned in your book concerning a husband who was always insulted by the wife until one day he said, no longer get saved.
Now, first of all, once you have personal goals, and personal goals are not annual goals. They are life goals, which is in line with my new book. So once you are clear about what your personal goals are, and personal goals are goals that help you along to achieve your life's purpose, you have to find a way of guarding them. There are three enemies to personal goals. Number one, comparison. Not accepting yourself as you are, wanting to compare yourself with another. And it sounds like somebody else following his goals is doing better than you. So it's not time you feel like stopping to follow your goals, because after all, you are not becoming as famous, or as rich, or as handsome, or as beautiful, like so and so. That's the first enemy to following your personal goals. And if you can find a way of not comparing yourself with others, you are likely to stick to your goal. Challenge number two is to fail to celebrate short-term successes. You know, sometimes you just want to celebrate when finally you reach it. Sometimes it can take 5 years to achieve a particular goal. So you need to find a way of achieving it. And we are not on that one. We are not we are not alone.
Yes.
God created the earth and everything in it in 6 days. He did not wait until the seventh day to celebrate.
No.
Every day he looked at what he has created. He said, "Oh, it is good." In fact, on the sixth day when he created man, he said, "It is very good."
It's very good.
He was celebrating each day's goals.
Yes.
If you want to fulfill your personal goal, you must find a way of celebrating along the way. It's the short-term wins, because they are the ones that will give you the energy and the staying power to actually arrive at the final goal.
Yes. Yes.
Thirdly, if you want to stick to your personal goals, ensure you keep reminding yourself that these are personal goals that are honoring to God. When you are living your goals to honor God, then even if all the other people don't seem to appreciate, as far as God is happy with you, it will keep giving you the energy and the conviction. You see, if you don't think what you are doing matters to God, then you don't think He is helping. He will help you to deal with the challenges of it. But when you know what you are doing is actually honoring God, then you know His power will help you along.
That's true.
If you do that,
Yeah.
it will certainly help you
Yeah.
to fulfill your goals.
Yes.
But of course, they all begin from the first stage.
Yes.
How did you set up the goals? Why did you set up the goal? How and why are critical words. How, if you set up them wrongly,
Yes.
basically somewhere you may need to review the goals. Why, if you set them up in order to become the most famous man on earth, you are setting up in an area where you are not in control.
Yes.
Because somebody else could come and become famous.
Yes. Yes.
So it's important to check why and how
Yes.
of your personal goals.
Talking about goals, now that we are in a new year, people have plans for the whole year. What would you be your word to people who have plans for the year, and how well should they remain consistent to achieve all their plans for the year 2019? And even talking about the nation at large, we have governments, devolved governments, their plans for the year. How well should they achieve and become successful?
I think the first thing is you need to check whether your annual goals are actually assisting your life's purpose or your long-term goal. For example, for a country called Kenya, we have Vision 2030. Don't end up with 2018 or 2019 goals, which are not assisting you in the long-term one. You must realign your goals to the long-term. If your long-term goal is to go to heaven, do not have short-term goals to hunt a girl who is not your wife. Because when you achieve it, you will be near hell. So it's important to always check that your goals, the short-term one, the annual ones, which I'm calling short-term, are actually in line with the long-term goals. That's the first thing if you are setting up your annual goals. Number two, you must ask yourself what resources will be required for me to achieve these goals, and what the level of likelihood that I will get those resources. The goal must always be stretched, in other words, difficult to get, but it still also must be achievable. It's a dangerous thing to give yourself a goal which you already know you can't achieve. Because then you're not work hard. Because it's the kind of thing when you don't achieve it, you say, I knew it. I knew I could not achieve it. So it will be important that you set up a goal that is stretched but achievable. How do you assess that? By looking at the resource requirement. So when I say resource, some of it is time. You can't start doing something that requires 3 years work. For example, you are constructing a house, is your goal. And everybody else has taken 3 or 4 years to build their house. You want to do it within 12 months. And the architect tells you not supposed to, no, I'll do it within. Now, that kind of a goal is a problem. So to look at the resources in terms of time. Also look at the resources in terms of money. Where are you going to get the money to pay for this particular goal? And how well are you able, how confident are you to get it? Check that. Are you likely to achieve it? But also, when you talk about resources, it's not just time, it's not just money, it's people.
Yes.
Who is going to do it with you? And how sure are you that they are willing to pull their weight to help you to achieve? You know, Nehemiah achieved a whole war around the whole city in 52 days.
Yeah.
But the only way he managed is because he was able to rally everybody, stopped everything else, just to be on the project.
Yes, yes.
They were convinced it was worth their time. In the same way, you must ask, who is going to be involved with me? Don't make assumptions.
Yes.
Consult them.
Yes.
Justify it to them.
Yes.
Get a buy-in from them. Once you do that, you have contributed very heavily to your ability to achieve. But let's now say you now have the plan.
Yes.
You must have short-term checks.
Checks.
For example, maybe every month or every quarter.
Yeah.
If you don't,
Yeah.
you'll discover in September that you're not achieving. And in September, you have such a short time.
Yes, yes.
Even if you pull your weight, you'll not achieve. But if you discover on the first quarter
Yes.
that the way you are going, you can't achieve, then you can redouble your effort in the second quarter
Yes.
so that you are able to achieve. So the whole issue of monitoring,
Monitoring.
evaluating short term is very, very useful. Anybody who wants to achieve his annual goals must put checkpoints.
Checkpoints.
But I think the second thing that will be important, there must be a method of evaluation.
Evaluation.
Because you can look at something, oh, it looks good. Now, what are the critical success factors for this goal?
Yes.
In other words, if I fail here and fail here and fail here, there's no way I will achieve this one.
Yes. Yes.
And you're looking at the critical path analysis. They say in management. Critical path analysis means this cannot happen unless this one happens.
Yes.
So then you realize these are critical issues. So when you're evaluating,
Yeah.
you will be more worried about the critical path. Are you doing what needs to be done before? Because if you don't do in first quarter,
Yes.
what can allow you to do second quarter thing? You have to repeat first quarter
Yes.
during the second quarter.
Yes.
So it's important if you're going to achieve your goal, have a way, not just monitoring,
Yes.
but how will you monitor?
Yes.
When you are talking about performance management
Yeah.
in a previous program,
Yeah.
we actually did say that one of the most critical issues in performance management
Yes.
is how to measure.
Yes.
Because if you are not agreed on how to measure, I can think I've succeeded, and you, my boss, says you have not.
Yes.
So it's important, even in goals, as you are setting them up.
Yeah.
How do people who want to claim, hurrah, I achieve my goals,
Yes.
don't have measures.
That's
For example, you say something like, oh, I wanted to slim. I have slimmed. and you're not weighing the machine. You did not have opening figure. You never weighed yourself in January.
Yes.
So how will you know whether you have lost or not lost?
You don't know. You don't know.
That's why a lot of people put goals,
Yeah.
which you can never tell
Yeah.
whether they achieved or not.
Yeah.
There must be a way of verifying what the base number, what's called baseline,
Yeah.
in order to know where
Yeah.
where you have reached. So we agreed when you're going to measurement, you need to agree a measure.
Yes.
But then finally, we also said you need to agree a target.
That's right.
Then what are you going?
Yeah.
This is the measure. What's the target?
Yes.
And your aim is to either achieve the target or surpass the target.
Yeah.
So that's important. Number 3, you need an accountability partner,
Accountability partner.
somebody else
Yeah.
or something else. Because with all what I've described, you can refuse to measure.
Yeah.
You can refuse. There needs to be somebody who say, hey, by the way, Nganga, how did that measurement go? How are you doing in the first quarter?
That's true.
Now, that idea of having a partner who can ask you questions will help you to keep, what am I going to tell them? In the process, you will want to check yourself before you are checked by another.
Yes.
So have an accountability partner,
Yeah.
and that will help you to, when you come to monitoring,
Yes.
to actually monitor. When you come to measuring,
Yeah.
to actually measure. It will be a very, very important thing for you to. So all that put together is what will determine whether one person achieves or another one doesn't.
Yes.
So don't just enter this issue of goal setting, New Year resolutions. It's a process.
It's a process.
And if you don't follow the process,
Yes.
you'll have left the goal by the month of February.
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic. Viewers, we all hope that by the end of 2019, all our goals for this year will achieve. After the break, we may want to pick it up from there. But keep forwarding your comments on our Twitter page at Leaders Dialogue Show and our Facebook page at Leaders Dialogue. Keep watching. Thank you.
Leader.